Heffron and Reep Show. Live from your headphones, it's Heffron and Reep.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Heffron John Reep Show. We just switched the names. I'm going by one name. John Reep's going by full name.
Yeah.
It was a big negotiation. His people had to call my people. They debated all weekend, arbitrators. It was a big deal. And that's John won in a hung jury, grand jury. He won to get his full name. So now
yeah, and by the way, my full name is just John Reep. It's not Jonathan David Reep.
Yeah.
It's just John Reep.
Let me ask you this, John, real quick, why we fill the room. Somebody asked, because I forgot where I got this asked, its readers to share their strange superstitions. What are your strange superstitions? One that comes to mind for me when I fly is I always touch the outside of an airplane when I'm boarding. Somebody else said I never finish the bottom inch of a bottle of beer. Somebody else said I raise my feet when driving over train tracks. I always smell the inside cup before I put whatever I'm going to put in it. Question to you, John Reep. All the listeners who popped into Facebook, well, maybe we'll open it up to the comment lines. But do you have any little strange?
Well, it's you would think maybe I don't. Although when I see, like in my neighborhood, we have plenty of cats wandering around. My girlfriend's neighbor has plenty of cats. So when I see a black cat and I feel like it's coming, like it's heading across my path, right, I try to speed up in such a way that it doesn't have a chance to go in front of me, or I make a left or I just go a different way. But very rare. But and that's a stretch. But no, I wonder if our fans have.
I have the ones I have is if I'm walking by or driving by a cemetery, I stop talking, believe it or not, and I hold my breath, like the whole as you drive, like you drive by. I do that. Before I go on stage, I have to put 3 pieces of paper towel in my front pockets, both sides. And then I fold 3 and put it where my wallet would be. And then I have another 3.
Is that real? Or are you just being funny?
No, 100%. I have to put paper towel in my front pockets. And I do remember when you'd have the paper towel in the bathroom that went zhunk, zhunk.
Yeah.
And you'd rip it. I'd have a beat. I go zhunk, 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 rip.
Wow.
And then pocket, zhunk, 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 rip, pocket. And then the more nervous, you know, how you can get like food napkins, not the little like booze napkins, not the little square ones, but the longer ones.
The rectangle.
The tall. Yeah. I get a stack of those. And for some reason, like the more nervous I am before a show or the more anxious I get, I just keep putting them in my pocket.
Your front pockets.
Front pockets.
Wow. I didn't notice that. Michael Evan Sullivan, one of our live viewers right now from Facebook. We're also live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So leave your comments. We can read them. Like I'm going to read this one. He says, the person that opens the pocket knife is the person that closes it. That is a superstition. My buddy Mark Hunt, also known as Mark Stamos, gave a knife back to me. I didn't like Samantha Dawn Kingston sent us a country-ish pocket knife.
Oh, cool.
And I opened it and I didn't, there's different ways that you have to shut them now. There's like all these safety measures and there's a button or a thing and I didn't know how to shut it. I said, teach me, Daddy. And he goes, I said, shut this. He goes, I can't shut it. You have to shut it because you opened it. And I'd never heard that superstition before. So he showed me how to do it and then I did it. But going back to your napkins in your front pockets.
Yeah.
Did that ever start? I mean, did it start with like one and you're like, oh, that was a good set. I had one napkin in here. I got to get like more napkins.
Well, I have a, you know, we keep a family show. I do know the origins story of how it happened. And
Were
then
you trying to make your bulge look bigger?
Yes. Yes. And then it just became I just kept stuffing them in there. Yeah.
But that's okay. Listen, we've all had this thought as people on a stage. Yeah. When people are quite literally, eye level at your junk sometimes at a rage. I had a group
of girls when I was like 19 or 20 came up to me after my show, and I'm like, all right, they're gonna tell me what an awesome show I had or something like that. And they said the whole time we kept staring at your bulge, and I was like, haha, right, ladies? And then the girl says, and by that we mean lack of one.
Oh no.
So that scarred me for the rest of my life.
Well, I don't blame you.
On stage.
It's not fair. Women get to have padded bras and all that kind of stuff. I feel like we should have padded underwear just for those moments. Because look, I'm gonna do it clean. Yeah. But as a man with the male sex organ, that thing has lots of range when it comes to size. It can grow big, or it can get really tiny.
Yeah.
Like, it is all about the temperature and the situation. So
and the pants.
You can't be judged, and the pants. You can't be judged on one event. So if all they saw was your bulge in one show, it's probably summertime. It's probably hot in there, no air conditioning. They probably try to hide. And maybe that's what they saw. They haven't seen a very aroused Heffron. They might have a different idea, a different thought. I'm just saying, or it needs to be underwear that would reflect what your potential is. So it's not like you're lying. It's just like, here's me at my best, like a padded bra.
Do they have They have to have underwear that has a little bit of a pad. But you wouldn't want it like to be like a bump, like you're wearing a cup, because that would look. How did the guys in the 80s do it in all those 80s bands?
We've all heard the sock. We've heard the sock. People put the sock in the front pants. I've dabbled with that, but it's too much. It's too much there.
I'm not going to Google it because I don't want Google ads or on all my Facebook things. But I wonder if there's a prosthetic thing that you can put on your under, so it kind of looks like it.
Oh, but see, then that's attached to you, and that's too much. I'm talking underwear that's got a built-in outline of your potential.
Right.
That, like, if you're wearing a certain pants, you would.
So it almost show like those. You live in a warm weather state, but in those draft things, they're like dogs, but they're full of beanbag, and you put it at the bottom of your drawer to stop the draft. You almost just like get one of those. I wonder if you can invent like it would be underwear with one of those draft things.
Yeah,
it just kind of, and then at that point, why would you just let it hang all the way to your knee? That's
let's work on that.
Yeah.
Let's give some shout outs to Heidi and Amber and Scott and Ball Nuts. That's the guy's name on YouTube. And Shane Flint. We see your comments. We appreciate you. Last time we talked, John Heffron, you and I were talking all about being assaulted.
Yes.
Do you remember this?
Yes. A guy open smacked me.
Yep.
And by the way, dude, can you see this? Sorry to interrupt. I lost another tooth yesterday. Well, I don't have a meth problem.
How so?
Starburst. I had a crown.
Put your finger where it was. Put your finger where it was. Oh, it's in the back. Okay, never mind. I thought maybe it was up front.
I had a temporary crown, but because of COVID, I never got that temporary crown fixed. Because they kept saying, well, in 4 years when we can have people in. And then I was supposed to go. And then they moved it to November, and then I ate Starburst, and then I heard crunch, crunch, and then I spit out the Starburst, and it was like a fossil. I had bars of tooth and a crown. So that Starburst, apparently $1,600 for that Starburst.
That Starburst assaulted your mouth, just like this guy in New York who slapped you across the face, and like this girl who punched me in the ribs in Charlotte. I have, in case we have a guest that may or may not join us, and I want to set it up in case he just pops in here without a setup. We teased last week that Steve Byrne, comedian friend of ours, very funny dude, was also accosted or assaulted by a comedian before the show. Guy threw water in his face. I hit up Steve. Hey, are you available to zoom into our show? Maybe talk about that. He said yes. So I think, maybe he'll join the show later. I don't know, Alan. If that happens, just let him in. Okay, let's go back to the tooth. So,
are we done with the superstitions?
I don't know. That's all I have. I don't have any other superstitions. I really don't have any. I don't mess with that stuff.
I do. I think the other ones I have, not that I've been on a basketball court in 700 years, but you always have to leave on a swoosh.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah, you can't leave on a miss. That's for sure.
Yeah. So that would be a superstition.
Yeah. What about stepping on a crack? You ever avoid cracks?
Nah.
Like on a sidewalk?
Nah.
What about walking under a ladder?
Mom's back, it's broke once or twice. It's gonna think. Shane Flint says I would tie and retie my boots before going on a mission.
So wait, so he would tie them, untie them, tie them again,
and then retie them.
Interesting.
That's weird. I think I do that a lot with clothes. Like, again, it always relates to performing, but I can't ever get my belt on, like, where I feel it's the right thing until I went holeless belts, which is the greatest invention in the history of the world.
I still got to get those.
Oh, dude, don't even waste your time with holes in belts, dude. But I would always just keep making it tighter and tighter. Then as I was walking before I'd, go on stage, I feel get looser and looser, and then I would so I would do that. But I have weird dreams like that before. If I'm going on stage in my dream, I always have like a wardrobe malfunction, like something won't tuck in, or I can't tie a shoe on time, and my name is being called.
Yeah. Well, I got to get one of those belts. I don't like tying shoes. The older I get, the more I hate doing that. So I wear Hey Dudes now, mostly.
Dude, look what I did.
Oh. What happened? Was it a gift?
No, I bought them.
You bought that?
I bought this.
I would tell people it's a gift next time. What made you want to go out and buy that? Look, here's the thing. I'm supposed to like Crocs because I'm the redneck one here, right? I'm supposed to be the hillbilly. But look at me. I obviously look like a civilized human being. Don't I look corporate right now? Don't I look good to you?
You do look corporate. Like you look like, one, you don't have a hat on. Which you normally have a hat on. So you did your hair. Kind of like how you're doing your hair now. It kind of looks like you're not doing your hair. So there's something stylish. Like I did the same. Like you can't tell. Look how short that thing is.
Yeah,
I was in La Jolla and I went straight onto a barber I didn't know. And I sat down and I wasn't going to give him the speech. I go, it needs to be cleaned up.
I'm laughing at Robbie's comment. He said, best birth control ever, Crocs.
These are the second pair. So I have these Crocs.
No, there are girls who love them. They're out there. I just don't get it. Tell me why you bought them and what's so great. Convince me. Sell those shoes to me.
I wish I had my other pair. So the first pair of Crocs I got were these slip-on just tennis shoes. They look like Skechers. They don't look like Crocs. You just slip on your feet, and they are so comfortable. I've slept in them. I've been on the couch with them, and I forget that they're even on. They're
Crocs?
that comfortable. Crocs. They're Crocs tennis shoes with no laces. You slip them on. It's got the word Croc is super, super small. So only if you're in the private club can you even notice. Then when I was there, I was like, well, I'll get a pair of these because they're there. I went kind of like a, tactical. Shane Flint will like this tactical green. So in case I have to go on any type of like a mission.
Let me see the back of it again. The back of it.
Like, hold on. Sorry.
The heel. Sorry. The heel. No, but like the other way. Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't have that strap on the back. Okay. Some of them have the strap in the back.
No, I got rid of the strap, man. I never know when I got to kick these off and kick somebody in the face.
So you took the strap off.
I took the strap off.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're comfortable, dude. Like I did lawn. Listen, they're probably not safe to do lawn work or ride around in a lawnmower, but they're easy on, easy off.
Yeah, but you know what else?
51.
You know what else is easy on, easy off?
What?
Like slippers and things that look like crap. They look dumb to me. They're just plastic with holes in it. What was it? The reason why it started, was it supposed to be for something? Because it looks like something that was built for an event or a job, and then someone said like, "Oh, I'll wear these all the time," and then they made it into a regular thing. Like, I'm curious, what's the story behind Crocs?
I would say Crocs were probably in the, some guy was probably who was wearing Tommy Bahama was on his boat and he got his white New Balance wet when he was on his boat.
Yeah.
So he goes, I need something that is less work than flip-flops, because flip-flops, you got to commit. You got to have some toe strength. You got to hold those flip-flops there. They make a noise. And somebody who liked clogs and wanted easy
and they like Swiss cheese.
And they wanted easy in and out. But I don't know. I mean, I could look up.
See, I feel like I'm just going to throw a theory out there, and I know it's not right, but these are the things that I come up with in my head when someone doesn't tell me the truth. Like, it looks like someone from Wisconsin, like a Green Bay Packers fan, like there were probably yellow ones that were made as a joke that look like Swiss cheese, like the cheese. And they're like, oh, yeah, that looks like cheese, and it's a slipper. We made shoes out of Swiss cheese. Isn't that hilarious? And then it caught on. And someone says, you can make them any color you want.
They have little buttons that you can put so you can style them. I didn't do that.
See, I didn't know about this. Tell me more.
Yeah, they go in the holes. They have these little pins, and you can put like American flag, kind of like your hat you wear, where you can patch it out. You can put whatever you want. You got a sports team, you can put them all on there.
All right.
And I'm going to get a little one that just says, if you can read this, you're about to be kicked in real small letters. So the person sees it. It's right up there. I've stomped out fire with these.
Wow.
These later are going to go on a mold killing spree.
That's yeah. Tomorrow. Well, I bet they're good to throw. Aerodynamic with the holes in it and stuff. No wind resistance on those. But have you noticed how pretty I look today? Like how beautiful, good looking I am. Like I look good today. I'll tell you why I look good.
Are you wearing like a polo shirt? Is that long sleeve or short sleeve? I'm sure.
Short sleeve.
Is there a logo on there? He's got a plain one. How do you find a plain one?
This is one of the best shirts I ever bought in my life, and I've had it for a very long time. It never goes out of style. And I don't remember. I don't want to take it off right now, but it's just a plain navy blue type polo shirt. And it always fits me, even when I'm fat or if I'm skinny.
Did you have a parent teacher conference?
I had an audition today.
You had an audition.
I had a call. It was not just an audition. This was the triple callback. This was a chemistry test via Zoom with other actresses. And so I sat here with Deanna Jackson. He can testify to this for 3 hours today doing this script right here with other actresses. And it's for, I'm going to jinx it. I'm not going to get the part anyway. So I'm already going to put that way. If I get it, it'll be a surprise, but okay. I might anyway. It's for a show that doesn't exist yet. This will be a straight to series kids show for Apple TV.
Okay.
Yeah. So it doesn't exist yet, but I might get it. Who knows?
When you were on the Zoom, were they on there too? And you just, how's that? How's doing? Yeah. You just look across, like I'm looking at you right now, and we got to act like we got to be like,
yeah, I did it right here. So first you zoom into the link. They wanted you to have this camera set up and another camera set up recording the whole thing just on its own in case as a backup. Then you zoom in and there's like casting agents and maybe a producer and like another person's going to read with you. And then they go, okay, hey, John, thanks for doing this. We appreciate it. We're going to pipe in so-and-so here in a minute. And we'll go dark. It'll just be you two guys on the screen. And whenever you're ready, just start the scene. And I start off like I'm the first person to talk. And I go, okay, cool. It's nice to meet you, so-and-so. Let me know if you're good, and I'll start. She goes, I'm good. I'm like, all right, here we go. And then I go. And then they record it. And then when they're done, they go, that was great, John. Hang tight for a second. and we'll be right back. And then they put you in a waiting room, and it's just nothing, and you just hang out and you wait for another actress to do another scene with you. I did 2 scenes today. So hopefully, well, that's why I look like this, because I'm supposed to be I'm like a dad.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. Like a dad who's like a funny, cool dad. He thinks he's cool, but he's kind of not really.
Were the actresses that you screen test? Did you know any of them? Have they done stuff? I know you can't say any of this.
Yeah, and you would too.
And
I knew. Well, one of them I knew. The first one, the second one I did not recognize, but it happened so fast.
Angelina Jolie.
I'm not familiar with who that is.
You know who that is? It wasn't her.
Is that? Just kidding. Of course I know who that is, but no, it wasn't her. Do you remember the girl from the Glad commercials with the high pitched voice? Glad hefty bags and like Ziploc bags, and she had a high pitched voice, and she's pretty, she's cute.
How old
that
is
was
she?
That was the first
don't
one.
answer that question. That was the first one. I don't know her. I know
Here she is now.
There we go.
We were just talking about a girl, and then all of a sudden you popped up as if that's the reveal.
We have
Good. I'm here for a chemistry read. I want to see if I'm either going to be, if it's going to be Reep and Byrne, or Heffron and Byrne, or Heffron Reep and Byrne. So wish me luck.
All right.
First off, I got to say, Steve, congrats on the lighting. I can't figure out my lighting. I like John's lighting. You look like you do this for a living.
Well, it's probably daytime there, John.
I'm using natural light, but I have 2 lamps coming in this way as well. So yeah.
Well, I don't want to shit on this point. You look great, Steve. I appreciate you zooming in. Last week we talk about being assaulted, and I thought of you, and I reached out immediately, and thanks for getting back to me. John, do you want to fill Steve in on what happened to you real quick?
Yeah, well, we first started, I think even before we started talking about what happened to me, Steve, me and Reep were just talking like, okay, how do we get more than 10 people to watch or listen to the podcast? And then I was telling about all the YouTube podcasts that I watch of comic people who I don't know but have successful podcasts. And then I said it's all in the labeling of what the show is. So I told Reep, we got to just start putting John Reep and John Heffron own blank and just start putting really famous comedians' names in there. So on YouTube, it kind of pops up all the time, right? So we go, well, who do we want to just, and we brought you up in this story, and then we said, let's just say John Heffron and John Reep own Steve Byrne and not tell him. And then that way we just
it's a clickbait thing.
It's a clickbait. Yeah. All it is so that started with, I did a big corporate event in Long Island, I believe last weekend. Long story short, right before I went up, I get introduced to the money guy. He's like, this is the guy who paid your check, haha. And there was a vice president of a bank or of a hospital was there. It was all super rich people here. The guy takes his hand. I can't do it with this webhand. Open hands me, smacks me right on the side of the ear, literally takes up this and goes, you better be funny. But it was a smack.
Right.
Where I was ringing in this ear. It's the side I got Bell's palsy in. I was so pissed. And literally the guy goes, and our comedian for the night, John Heffron.
What the fuck? Really?
And then I went on stage, and just the whole time I'm like, do I have a moment where I tell that guy to F off? But I also just got paid a lot. So where's my pride versus I guess you can buy me out. And I guess I do have a price where you can kind of treat me like shit. And so it was a weird moment. So I told John that story because John also got hit by a fan. If you wanted to tell that story,
just after the show, a girl came up to me. I thought the show was over. I thought the meet and greet was over, and I was sneaking back to the green room, and she's like drunk. She comes up, "Where you going, fucker?" You know, just like that. I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were here. I guess I'm leaving." She goes, "Come here, I got to get a selfie," and I'm like, "All right, let's." I'm doing like a passive aggressive. Okay. And she sensed that. She goes, "Don't be condescending, asshole." And then she punched me right in the rib cage. And I was like, holy shit, I wasn't prepared. I mean, it's a hard punch. And so I got assaulted. John got assaulted. And it made me think of a time where a long, long time ago when me and you had a college gig opening for a guy named Henry Welch. An event happened to you backstage. And the way you handled it was so awesome. But I remember being so mad and I was mesmerized that it happened and how well you played it off.
Well, you're going to have to walk me through it because I've had a multitude of these things happen. And when you brought it up, I was like, huh. And when you're starting to name it, I'm like, it's vaguely familiar, but.
Okay. So
you give me the broad strokes.
You and I, young comedians up and coming. We're, I think I had met you before this somewhere. It's fuzzy, but I remember we're backstage.
Yeah.
Henry Welch was the headliner. And he had brought his own guy. We did not know that there was a fourth comedian.
Right.
So we're just backstage trying to figure out the order of the show. Who's going to do what? Who's bringing who up? And you were just asking basic questions.
Sure.
And the other dude who was with Henry had like an attitude thing. I guess he thought like we were questioning him for even being there. I don't know how he took it. But anyway, he got mad at you right before someone else was going to start the show, and he had a cup of water and just went like "fuck off" or said something, and then the water hit your face. You're like, "What the?" And you walked out, and you're like, "Dude, just threw water in my face." and then he started the show. But
it was on a Tuesday. Are you sure it wasn't Mark Curry?
No, it was Henry Welch.
Okay,
but let's Google the Alan Jackson. Can you Google? I know Mark Curry.
Because Mark Curry, an incident happened with his opener. I think he either took a splash or took a swing at me or shoved me or something like that. So maybe that took precedent. But I had one show where I was at the Comic Strip live in New York City. And I remember it was my birthday and I was like, oh, I got this new bit. And I was young and I was hungry. And I was like, I'm gonna work on this new bit. So I go down to the Comic Strip and it's after midnight. You can pop in, you can do the pop-ins. So I go up, there's maybe 12 people there, and you're thinking, oh, I'm a comic, I'm doing it, man. I'm working on my craft. And I go up, and half the crowd, which is 6 people, stand up and they're debating the check. And they're all these it's like literally Jersey Shore, right? Playing out in front of me. I go, guys, can you just do that out there? And they go, oh, what you fucking do about it? I go, come on, man. I'm just trying to do the set, and could you just go out there and work on the check? I go, okay, whatever, Jackie Chan. I go, Jackie Chan. I go, thank God the Lincoln Tunnel's open 24 hours a day. Have fun going back to Secaucus. And then this girl, they're like Snooki, called me like some Asian name, like Asian something, like Asian boy or something. And I was like, oh man. And it just like lit, the fuse was lit. And then she said something else and the guy said something. And I go, will someone shut that cunt up? And next thing I know, a bar stool, and you guys know these bar stools at the comic strip were bought in the 60s, probably. So like pure iron. Yeah. Some guy just takes it and husks it, throws it, and I see it hurtle at the last minute. I'm like, shit. And I turn around, crack, split my head open right in the back. Because I have this big scar in the back of my head. If I shave my head.
Wow.
And it felt like someone was pouring hot tea down my neck. And Big J Okerson hears it, runs into the showroom and goes, bro, you got to go to the hospital right now. And so I went to the hospital, and I remember watching Dr. Phil for an hour and a half, holding like the back of my head, waiting to get staples, not stitches, staples with a kank. They staple your head back together. I had that happen. And I remember the cops came to the comic strip, then they talked to me and they said, are you going to press charges? And at that time, I was like, I should, because out of principle, as a professional comic, I should know better. I should know how to handle that situation better. And I acted like an amateur. And as a professional, I should have been able to defuse the bomb. So it's like, those are like the experiences that I considered part of my education in stand-up, to go, you got to be in control of the room. And I wasn't. And I was a complete moron. So I deserved it, I felt.
That's how you felt then. I bet you wouldn't feel that way today. I mean, because I think your philosophy, your thought process is admirable. And you're like, well, yeah, I should be able to do that. And yeah, we should. But still, if someone's going to throw a fucking stool at you made with iron,
yeah,
that's on them a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. But I was young and I guess it's that Catholic guilt of like, no, I deserve this. I can't be happy. I should do it on my own.
Yeah.
But the greatest fist fight I ever got into this happened at the comedy store. This happened at the comedy store. This is the second best fight I ever had. But the second best fight I was and you guys know the dark days at the comedy store from like 2004 to like 2015 or something. Right. It was just bad. And you couldn't do a show until 12 people showed up, right?
Yeah.
So I remember I was sitting there and it was like 9:00 on a Friday and the OR finally gets to open up. I'm excited I get to do my set. And before I get called up, this group of Asian kids gets up and walks out of the showroom. They stayed for like 2 comics. And so I'm being introduced as these Asian kids are walking out. And I start walking up on stage. And there's this guy in the back and he's eating chicken wings. The store didn't even give a shit. This guy brought his own food in. So he's eating his chicken wings and he looks at me and goes, "Hey, your friends left." I go, "What?" And after he says it, he goes like this. And he's licking his fingers. And that's what set me off. I was like, this piece of shit. I go, "What? My friends because they're Asian and I'm Asian?" He takes another bite. He goes, "Yeah." And he's chewing. Remember like Superman 2, that guy Rocky?
Yeah.
On the pinball machine. He was kind of acting like this guy. I was like, this fucking piece of shit. I go, "Maybe I'll meet them outside." He goes, and maybe you should join me. He goes, "Maybe I will." I go, "Well, let's go meet him right now." So I get off the stage, and you know how it's like a square. I get off, he gets off. We're both walking towards the door, and I grab him, and we end up on the ground. And I'm like Ralphie in A Christmas Story now. I'm like, "You random fucking son of a bitch!" Right. And just then, his buddy takes one of the back tables, and he takes a table, and he's gonna drill me in the head with it. Brett Ernst tackled that guy, and Brett Ernst is taking that guy out now. And now it's a melee in the comedy store. And I got pulled off. They got separated. Tommy called me the next day. And it became a thing for a minute. I thought, oh, my God, I'm going to get sued. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that. And I pulled out the race card because, it actually
well, it's how it started.
Though, It's how it started. So I hated to rely on that because I hate to be that person. But that happened, yeah.
Wow. That's awesome, dude. I'd never heard that story. I didn't know that one. How great is this? You got those 2 stories, and you forgot the one
He's not even on one.
The one that I was thinking of. I've never had anything like that, man.
But I find it shocking that Hef would take a juicy one to the ear because Heffron, he studies like you know.
Well, I used to like 100 years ago, but
that's still burning the hard drive. I'm sure, like you could. You're Liam Neeson. You have a set of skills, and you haven't used them in a while. But you still,
you know what it is? It was one of those situations where you didn't think you were going to be hit. It's like, let's say you're talking to your mom, and she goes, "Oh, I made you a grilled cheese sandwich," and then punches you. It can completely came out of nowhere.
Was the guy big or something, or was he?
No, he was a big fat guy. So there are those big fat guys that. Somehow, because they've always been bigger, because I have a skinny man complex. I've always been little. High school, I was 112 pounds, but this guy was big. Right. But it's weird when you see some big guys like that, you're not afraid of them because they got one move, and that's just to swing at your head. Right. And they're easy to deal with. I'm way more afraid to fight a guy who's like 140 pounds
because he might know something. These days, like everybody, you never know. You got to look for the cauliflower ears. A little twisted nose.
Yeah, I wish they made cauliflower ears like you could just like
Because
if I was arguing with you and I turned and I saw you have cauliflower, you win the argument. I
bet you that's a great little.
I would never.
Instead of getting plastic surgery to make yourself look younger, plastic surgery to make yourself look like a badass. Fake cauliflower ear,
little scar, just like a scar.
Yeah, a little scar.
When people ask about it, you go, it's something that my therapist and I just decided we don't talk about. Then you leave it. You're just like super aloof or something.
Yeah, before like a weekend in Des Moines, you kind of get the surgery and then you go back to LA and you take it off,
Yeah.
Yeah, or some prosthetics. Yeah, you could take on and off. I like that. I get to work on that social media.
I'm trying to think of, I think I've done my whole career there's comics that aren't fans of mine, but I'm trying to think if I ever got in a yelling.
Oh, John, I know what happened to you, buddy. I was there. I'm sorry. I know you're about to tell a story, but as you were saying this, there was a night.
Vinny Favorino.
Oh, yeah, I know that dude.
Right?
Favorino. He was working at the.
Yeah, and I'm mad. So I would MC at Harrah's at the Improv every fourth weekend. It was just, this was a long time ago. You just go there. You're at Harrah's. It's a Vegas week.
Is this a Vegas guy? Because I've never heard of him.
He's a Boston guy, but I just remember him being back. You're in the back green room, and this Carl is the guy who ran sound and all that stuff there. Carl's super nice guy. Vinny started saying something to me, and I don't even know what. And then he started talking about how he's going to pick up the chair and smash it over my head. He's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pick up that chair. I'm going to fucking put it overhead. And I just remember just staring at him going, pick it up.
Yeah.
Pick it up. It's all I kept saying. Is it pick it up? Pick it up, fat guy. Pick it up. And it was just, so that was probably the closest.
What was his problem with you? That's so crazy because you're like one of the nicest guys. This podcast should be called Two Great Dudes in Comedy. I can't understand somebody getting upset with you.
I don't remember why he got that mad. I think that's when I was like, I'm 30. This was 15, 20 years ago. I'm like, I do Krav, I take knife fighting. And then he's like, you're not from Boston. I beat the shit. Like he was talking to me like that. And then he'd get on stage and he'd make fun of, look at that young kid. And then I was 10 minutes of his, of his act or something. But I don't think any other comic I already told those stories about the feature acts, but yeah.
Well, one night at the Improv on Melrose, you and I, it was like a Wednesday night.
It's bad that I don't remember these. Yeah.
It wasn't that. I mean, it wasn't really it was there were maybe 20 people in the crowd. And the MC was a guy who no one knows him. I don't remember his name. I just remember he's one of those MCs that thinks he has to have a witty banter about each person's performance.
Guys, let's not talk about Gary Cannon tonight, okay? Let's talk
I mean, that guy, right? We have
so he had a witty banter about your thing, right? And I think you saw it coming, like you knew he was probably gonna, because he had said about each person, and it didn't even make sense. And then you were walking away from the stage as if to walk out the room, and he said something, and you heard it, and you turn around, and you go, "No, well, actually, what I said," like you had a conversation with him.
Yeah.
Before he was able to continue. And it was quiet enough in there that you didn't need a microphone.
Yeah.
You could tell he got scared. Like he wished that you had left the room. And then
he shit on my act. And then because the Improv was so small, I stopped and said, no, well, I actually said, because he's one of those LA guys that never really worked the road and kind of just did they're a special group of fellas.
I was happy to see you do that. I think you scared him that night. You scared him a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you this. I was in New York City maybe a month ago, and a lot of those clubs, I think, kowtowed to the outrage of representation, right? You need a person of this, you need a person of this, you need a person of this sexuality, et cetera. So all these identity markers, right? And so I think there are certain clubs in New York City that have capitulated to that and have given into it. And what I noticed in that is that the shows kind of suffer because you're hammering you're shoehorning somebody in that hasn't really earned their stripes yet. And I really noticed it when I was doing a show, and on 3 separate shows, there were MCs that I'd never seen before or heard of. And not one of them ever asked what my credits were.
Yeah.
And any comic who's been through the ringer knows you've hosted for years. That's the first thing you do before you bring up a comic, just out of respect is, hey, is there anything you want me to say about you?
Right.
Even when we tag team shows, that's always the thing. And these 3 young comics, I just thought that's the sign. That's the sign that they didn't pay their dues. They didn't get put through the ringer yet.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, at one aspect, I go like, well, they're just ignorant. They're not trying to be douchebags. That's all they know. And then on the other hand, I'm like, well, they need to be taught. Am I the one that has to teach them and put them in their place? Like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy that other features walk around and go like, Reep's an asshole. But sometimes it's like, I wish I had just had a card and that happened to me once. I forgot who the headliner was. I walked up to, I said, is there anything you want me to say? He just pulled out a card and handed it to me. Like he had them already pre-made. He's like, this is my intro. I'm like, oh, sweet. I mean, in a weird way, I was happy about it.
Just to admit, I got a little controlling for a second, but I did that with Spotify playlist. I have pre-show playlist music on Spotify. It's called literally John Heffron pre-show. So I go to the Sound Kid. I have a playlist. Play it an hour before the show starts.
That's just smart.
You don't get to decide what music because the music you pick is horrible.
Most of them are just garbage. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was like, with
I go, I never want the crowd to be in this mood. That's why Kaja Gugu, I Savage Gardenia. We're truly, madly, deeply. We bring it down. Everybody's happy. And then we start the show.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You got Savage Garden?
I got Savage Garden on my. I got Savage Garden. I've rocked.
That's why the guy smacked you in the hair.
He's like,
oh yeah,
it sucks. This is like
he was on one of your shows
from the 90s. Yeah.
Steve, are you in Nashville?
I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah.
I will be there Monday if you're up there.
Monday, I'm here. I'll be there. I go to Tampa this week to work, but then I'll be back. I'll be back Sunday night. So
what club are you at in Tampa?
Side Splitters. Yeah.
I know that because I was trying to decide between you and John Reep. When I open up my social media, which one of you I will see first. And I'm impressed with both of you to the point where it almost, I feel like, what's not body shaming. I feel I have social media shaming when I see you guys.
Yeah.
Because I don't do the level that you do. And I don't know.
What about like Kreischer, who like lives on it? I mean, he might as well just have the thing attached to his face, and he's just going around. Yeah, I guess it pays off, but Jesus, man, you're going into surgery. It's like, dude, enough.
Stop.
Just what was the surgery?
Yeah, what was the surgery, by the way? Just curious. Do we know what it was?
Apparently, not to remove the phone from his hand. So I don't know what it was.
But it works for those guys. Like they're I know we're switching subject, but I was telling John, we can name a billion people where you go, man, they're on all the time. But then you go, their ticket sales reflect them being on all the time.
Sure.
So you can't, if something to be said that, I don't think Kreischer's done a walk from one room to the other without recording himself in between those two rooms. Right?
I mean, there's certain people that just, they're cut out for that, right? And he's cut out for that. I can't do it. I feel like dirty doing it.
Like with you, Steve, like I know I'm going to see, and this is back in the radio days, a benchmark bit where it's content. I know there's going to be a picture of you lying down somewhere in your patented Steve Byrne pose.
I love that.
Easy and dumb to do that.
But it's consistent.
That's good.
Right.
That's
and
good.
I know I'm going to see a picture of you eating at a barbecue place. And
yes.
I'm not, you know how I get, John, with my ADD. So, Steve, I thought about you. I was in New York. Yep. I'm not even, I'm going to scroll through to try to find it. I walked by a barbecue place when I was in New York last week, and I was going to go on social media, and I was going to text it to you to see if this brought up any memories. And I'm going to show it. Let me just do this to make sure you can't.
What's it say? Village
Virgil's
barbecue right across from the Hudson Theater.
Yes, I am familiar with that.
Well, I think me and you, Steve, went there. The Hudson Theater, for those you don't know, everybody who shot a Comedy Central special shot it at that theater. Yeah. If you're on Last Comic Standing for anything, you shot it at that theater. That theater's been used a lot in comedy. I think I ate when I walked by that Virgil barbecue place. I had all these nerves because I think I've done like 3 or 4 TV things and went to that barbecue place either after or before going,
good luck.
This is going to destroy my career. This is going to be awesome for my career. I hope I don't get nervous, but I think I've eaten at that place with you. I was going to text that to you because I know you do barbecue stuff. And let me ask you this. When you post your videos of your stand-up, do you sit there and cut all those clips?
No.
Because I have a question for both of you. I want to steal my own stuff from my first Comedy Central special, and I can't figure out how to do it. I can't figure out how to get the clip off of it because it's all protected.
I've always hired a guy to do those things, and the guy I had recently left, which is good because I used up a good chunk of my stuff. So it forced me kind of like to get a little more inventive, but it's been a while, and so I'm going to start slowly infusing those bits again until I film this next one. So
because of all the other stuff you do, I was going to plug all the stuff. Opening act, for those of you who may not even know Steve Byrne's work. Opening act is that Amazon Prime?
It's on Amazon, iTunes. You can rent it right now. It's there's like a little bidding thing going on right now between the streamers, so it's going to end up on a streamer at some point. But yeah, I mean, look, you can rent it for $3 on Amazon or iTunes right now. It's literally, I think it's the best representation of our profession ever in 90 minutes. There have been a lot of films done about stand-up, but I thought there's, the films I've seen as of late are like, like Hacks or something like that. It's like, hey, let's do a show about a 50-year-old comic. It's like, why? That's the worst. No one wants to watch a story about a guy driving home from Vegas. You want to watch a story about a 20-year-old driving to Vegas for his very first time ever. That's the fun. So that's why I'm not in it, because
hold on, I got to deal with the script I was working on. Right, on the 50-year-old comic guy.
Yeah, that's right, dude. No, that's true. I love that. Also, I want you to brag about the amazing Jonathan doc that you did.
Yeah. I did a documentary about the amazing Jonathan. It's on YouTube. It's completely for free. It's called Always Amazing. And Jonathan was the second guy I ever opened for. There's my fingers. Second guy I ever opened for on the road. And I got along very well with him and his assistant at the time, Joel Osborne. And just like everybody else, Jonathan was public about his terminal diagnosis. I was disheartened and saddened by it. And then to learn that he outlived expectations, was coming back to stage, I thought, boy, this would make a great doc. And then I thought, I mean, I know these guys. I know their backstory. I know everything about them. So why not do a documentary about Jonathan's return, but then also showcase, how big his heart was. He took an 18-year-old kid under his wing from Australia who became his assistant. And this kid, Joel Osborne, saw a drug addict through, the worst of circumstances in Las Vegas, finally got Jonathan in a good place, said, okay, you're good. Great. I'm going to Australia. I'm a grown man now. I'm going to be a comic on my own. So Joel goes to Australia, becomes a comedian. Jonathan is diagnosed. He's going to die. He makes a return to stage. Joel comes back to open for him. I thought, oh my God. I mean, this is a perfect layup of a film. And went ahead and did it. And, you look at the reviews on YouTube, it's just like the film's done really, really well. And I'm proud of it. And again, having never done a film before, it was like, let's see if we can do this.
That's crazy. It was so good. I mean, I love Steve Byrne. I've known Steve Byrne a long time. I didn't know this part. And I'm watching it thinking, well, this is first time. Let's watch this. and it was so good. And I know the amazing Jonathan as well. I worked with him one weekend in St. Charles, Missouri, and it was just this fun, crazy, sweet man. And he said nice things to me when I was there, and I was just getting started. And when I saw this, I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. Great job, my friend.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you so much. Yeah. And if I didn't do that film, I wouldn't have gotten to do the opening act. I mean, so it was another example of like taking matters in your own hands and saying, well, no one's going to give me this opportunity. Let me just do it. And I edited that thing in my garage with my buddy on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. I'd go off on the road, come back, and we'd work, 6 hours a day, sometimes 10 hours a day, just editing this thing, eating pizza in my garage. And it was so fun. It was a great learning experience. And it definitely helped me for, the experience of doing the other film.
So when you decide now, I guess I'll switch it just to creativity. So anybody listening, no matter what you do, it's more follow through and discipline. I've had 8 billion ideas for 8 billion things, and I've done 0 of them. That's not true. I think I've done a lot more, but I wrote a spy book forever. And during COVID this past year is when I decided to put it out.
Oh, great.
Sat down and did it. And then I was like, well, I did one. That's going to unlock me doing a bunch more. Nah, I've sat and just watched Netflix after that. But I always see guys like you, and in the times that I've seen you, you didn't realize, Steve, we were on just because we read your love language and we know that it's people talking nice to you. That's why we have you on the show. That's what,
okay, I'll take it. That's fine.
But I've seen you, you like, we've done shows together, but I've never, like, last time I saw you at the Comedy Store, I'm not a Comedy Store guy, although I was just in La Jolla this weekend. Yeah. I've always seen you with your jokes on a piece of paper, and you're in the parking lot, and you kind of know, okay, don't talk to him. He's thing. So I want to know about that process, because I've never done that in the history of my life. I don't get it. So if you have an idea for a bit, you're on the flight, wherever you're going to Tampa, something hits you. What is that process from the idea hit you to it's on a piece of paper and you're reading it in a parking lot?
Well, I mean, that's just always the way I've done it. I always write my setup before I go up on stage, because I always see people kind of roll in, and I'm like, they just kind of roll up and do it. Even when I'm headlining now, I bring my notebook on stage with me, because there's always something I'm working on to remind me of the structure. But last time we actually worked together, you told me about something that I wrote in my notebook that helped my writing. And you were talking about how it's a question upon a question about a question upon a question. And you're spiraling, and you started with a little circle, and then it starts this outreach thing. And I tried it a handful of times, and it actually benefited me and helped me out with this bit I've been working on. I've been trying to crack it for a long time. And it was only through that experiment that I was like, oh, wow, that kind of fucking helped me. So thank you very much for that.
Well, that's so weird, because I was trying to work on something for somebody else. I guess that's what I'll say. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this for this person. Right. So I flew back from Los Angeles today, and on a piece of paper, I just wrote, whatever the question was, and circled it. And I just went, why, then what, how come? Right. Yeah. And then now I looked at the piece of paper even before the podcast and went, okay, I'm going to fill in the things now. Here's 3 things I would, I'm making this up, but it was like 3 ages in life I'd like to redo. And I just go 1, 2, 3, and just leave those lines. So I don't even go back and go, well, when I was 12 or 14. And then tomorrow I'll go back and a little bit of the work's done and stuff like that. So it's good after 30 some years of comedy that I'm just now.
I watch a lot of Shark Tank. And I'm telling you, I think the mentality kicked in a few years ago, where I was like, do I want to like be hired, right? Do I want to be a hired gun, or do I want to come up with the idea and try to build the business, right? And I think that's when I started reading all these books about writing and taking it upon myself, because the bottom line is, I guess I just suck at auditioning, because I just never got cast in anything. The only thing I ever got cast in was stuff I wrote myself. So
your own income,
so just like giving myself the own opportunities to do these things. But I wish somebody had pulled me aside younger and given me Save the Cat, or Sid Field, or even Joseph Campbell, and said, hey, read this and do this, because even in the scripts I've written that didn't necessarily go somewhere, like, I still learned so much from that experience of writing that script, or that feature, or that pilot, or even scenes when I did the opening act. There were scenes we were going to have to reshoot, and I wrote, I'm not joking, 20 extra scenes for the film, just in case we had to film this thing, or what we thought we were thinking of. And I'd write a scene that night and come in the next day and have it already prepared. And even in just those scenes, it was like, it was just such a great experience, and I feel like such a more confident writer. But it helped my stand-up so much, so much.
Yeah, I found for what I've been doing now lately is making a fake project to make my brain work on, and then I have such ADD that's just a trick. I'm tricking my body to think that I need to build this Lego set, but really, why I'm building the set, I end up thinking about something else. Like I'm making myself write another book, knowing this book probably won't ever get written, but already it's making me write bits because there has to be funny within the book.
You got to give yourself, I do that with this podcast and the other one, Country-ish. I think, well, I've got these segments that I want to do every time. So each week I got to think of a new thing for the next segment for the next time. And then it forces me to sit down and start doing something. And then that creative brain keeps going like, oh, well, this will be for another thing. And then before you know it, you've gotten a lot of shit out there, you know? I want to ask.
Can I tell you something? I was just talking to somebody. I was in, God, it's like typical comic. I don't even remember where I was last weekend. I was in Phoenix. I was in Phoenix, and Patrick Keane and I were talking about you. Okay. And you had posted a closing bit you'd done, and I'd seen this before. But we were talking about your dance thing where you're doing the lawnmower and the shopping cart, and then that spiraled into the football referee, which is like still one of my favorite bits. I know it's an old bit, but because we're at the store, we would see each other all the time, and it was just such a great physical, both those things. And I was like, man, if this guy, you see somebody like Caparillo who's like headlining in Vegas, and I was like, if there's anybody that would ever just crush in Vegas with residency, it would be you. I mean, you would fucking crush that shit, dude.
I agree. Thank you.
Have you ever thought about that? Like
I feel, so my management was with Ralphie May as well. And Ralphie May had that residency. Right? Yeah. And like I was supposed to possibly be the next one, but it was such a weird time. And I've had those conversations, and I would totally do it. Mm-hmm. It's got to be one of the best things ever to just be, especially if you're in the same hotel. If you're on that penthouse or whatever, and you come straight down. Like I would love to do that, but I feel like it would kill me because I just know Vegas is so much fun all the time, and it's hard for me to say no to someone who wants to hang out and have a drink. And before you know it, it is 6 a.m. I mean, we've all been there. But yeah, thank you. Yes. Steve, you've worked. Correct me if I'm wrong. Were you part of the Wild West Comedy Fest?
I was part of the Wild West Comedy Fest after they did the movie. Somebody was a bit diva-ish. I think we all know who it was. And I just moved to LA and took over for that individual as they continued to tour a handful of times. So that's how I got to meet Vince Vaughn and Peter Billingsley. It was through a MetaMed, and I just came to the Comedy Store, and I think they were like, all right, let's find somebody else.
Gotcha.
And they said, hey, who else is available? And I said, this guy Steve just moved here from New York. He seems pretty cool. Yeah, and that's how I kind of started doing it.
But so the film part, you were not in the film.
Not in the film, no.
Okay. Well, there's a scene in there I want to talk about because you've probably seen it. So Sebastian Maniscalco is doing a bit in Florida about how he doesn't like people who wear flip-flops.
Oh, yeah, and he bombed? Yeah.
Yes. And it was hilarious because I love Sebastian. I've seen Sebastian. He's a beast, right? He's one of the best. We've seen him. He's doing great. But to see the look on his face when he came backstage and he knew this was being filmed.
Shell-shocked, yeah.
Yeah. And he just walked in. He's like, I don't know what happened. I'm doing a bit about the flip. Why don't they agree? And so I thought it was so funny because John Heffron just bought a pair of Crocs.
Oh, Hef, you deserve that smack to the head. For the second time this podcast. Savage Garden and the fucking Crocs.
Yeah, listen, I know my wheelhouse. Listen, I'm not performing for that second show Friday anymore. I've realized
yeah, that's the problem.
I'm 2 years away from trying to go. Who books the villages in Florida?
Yeah.
Who does those? I'm kind of done with anything with the word funny or bone in it, and I'll do a 4:00 show at.
You're on the Jimmy Schubert tour now.
It makes. I was trying to look for a video that I was going to send to Alan of all three of us dancing in Nashville.
Oh yeah,
funnest nights of my life.
That was so much fun, dude. We were doing karaoke. We were hanging out.
Banding. We were singing karaoke.
Yeah,
the Practical Joker guys were in there.
Nate was doing a lot of boy band shit that night too.
It was good.
Yeah, we were. Well, John especially. You were doing what is Steve Byrne like? I was out of my mind and I was doing just fine. I was living it, and then I was taking a bath, and now I'm washing my face. What was that song?
The Killers, Mr. Brightside.
Yeah.
No, I've seen Byrne told me the story about like that, and how, every time you sing that, I get all jazzed. It's good.
that was a good one, man. Well, we should collectively do like a one-off in Vegas together sometime or whatever, just to have some fun. 100%. My buddy owns a venue downtown. We should just go and have fun.
That's what me and Reep, we were sitting around, and we're like, we did a couple shows together. Yeah. We're like, let's try to grab these. So me and Reep are doing a bowling alley tour in Michigan.
Oh, that's awesome.
We got 5 dates, and we're going. Brunswick is sponsoring us, so we're getting shoes, hats,
awesome, man.
Out clothes, and it's just all Western Michigan, so Grand Rapids, kind of all up in that area, and selling like 1,300 tickets to all the places, and then we're even going to move. I think we're going to try to develop the Heffron Reep bowling alley bars. So you're going to see we're going to be like Toby Keith in bowling alleys. We're just going to start opening our own chain of bars in bowling. It's a niche. Nobody, right? Everyone's trying to get TV shows on Netflix and movies and stuff. Me and Reep are going with the bowling alley bar.
I went to Luke Bryan's here in Nashville for the sushi, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's a great country artist." I'm like, "Nah, the sushi's the shit." That's how I know. I'm the rooftop sushi guy.
Look, Steve, I know you love Nashville. You've been going for years. Me too. John too. Now that you live there, has it changed for you? Are you like still in love with the city? What's going on?
It's just the quality of life. It's so great. You know, there's no traffic. People are super cool here. All the artists I've met, country artists, big country artists, they're just laid back and normal. It's like I remember I did the red carpet for the CMAs with Sarah Tiana one year. And we did that, and everybody I met was so nice. Even Garth Brooks, he came over. He goes, "Hi, I'm Garth," and I go, "I know who the fuck you are." I was like, because I didn't know anybody, and it became this thing, I guess. But I mean, that's part of the reason why I love the charm of the city, and everybody's so nice.
Are you still doing stuff at Zanies? I think you guys were going to work on some sort of a night or something. We talked about this briefly. I can't remember what capacity it was, but you were going to do a thing possibly with Zanies over there.
Yeah, I'm doing I do a crowd work show where it's Steve Byrne versus Nashville. So I do that. I just did that 2 weeks ago. I'll get another one on the books. Callan and I were doing a podcast, and we were doing some live shows recorded from here, and that's no longer happening because he's a little busy.
That happens.
Last time I was in Nashville, when I saw Steve, I'm paranoid to do anything but my act. I'm not a good improv or stuff. Steve actually called me on stage and we rapped.
You were, that's right. You were.
And I was.
It was you and Angela Johnson, right?
Yeah, and Kate Quigley.
And Kate Quigley. That was a fun night.
We just kept spilling drinks on stage. Yeah. And I just rapping Darius Rucker songs for some reason. But yeah, so it was, that was fun.
That's one of my favorite clubs in the country.
Reep, you're like an hour and a half. You got to come in more.
It's a little further than that. Oh. It's about 4 hours.
Oh, 4.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I know. When you were calling me about doing stuff, I'm like, I don't think he knows how far away I actually am. Okay. I think it's like 3.5, 4 hours. But that being said, I can still drive there, once a month. There's something big, knock out a bunch of shit and come back.
We have to, because then I don't know when last time you were there, John, but if they have a mural on the side of the thing, and I'm kind of maybe opposed to 2 or 3 people on the mural. So no, we got to make a campaign. You got to start performing more. I'm going to start performing more.
Okay.
So that way we can.
I just tell everybody Henry Cho is me. I just say, "Oh, that's me." That's what I tell my kids. I'm like, "Oh."
Oh my gosh, who was it? It was Reno. Reno Collier was zooming live from Zanies with us on a show like this. The show, and he confused. Oh, John? Do you remember who it was?
No.
He confused somebody. Goes, oh, that's and it was totally the wrong color.
That's funny.
Like because that night light at night, everything looks like a dark brown.
Yeah.
But he got the whole ethnicity wrong. It was priceless. But yeah, my goal is to be on that wall someday. I really want to be on that wall. And I know they're adding new people all the time. So if Dorfman's watching this, come on, what are you doing? I'm going to go Sebastian on your ass.
You ever notice Sebastian can never, and this is genius, he can never get hit with anything that's thrown because he's so sideways.
He's sideways. He's fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he can't. Okay.
He's fast as hell. Steve, God bless you, buddy. Oh, I know. I was going to ask you one more thing.
Yeah.
You're a Pittsburgh guy.
Yep.
That's the hat. There's the Pittsburgh Pirates right there. I've been to Pittsburgh many times. In the airport once, I thought like everyone's talking about this sandwich for years. I've been watching Monday Night Football my whole life.
Yep.
So I went and I had one.
Yeah.
And I'm going to chalk it up to it was airport.
It's
place.
different downtown. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I was like, what? It can't be. It can't be.
Yeah. Look, even Geno's cheesesteaks. I was in Philly, and I was like, "Oh, I got to get a Geno's, right?" And it's just not the same. I don't know what it is. I think it's the quality suffers, obviously, but I don't know what it is about an airport where the transference isn't happening. But if you go to Pittsburgh, you got to go down to the Strip District to the original Permane Brothers. I know there's one right next to the Improv, and it's good. It's good. It's better than the airport, but you got to go old school, the Strip District. And what the story of Permane Brothers, to anybody listening, it is constantly ranked like the top 1, 2, or 3 sandwiches in the country on the Food Network every time they do those polls. And what it is the Strip District was where everybody used to get their groceries back in Pittsburgh in the early 1900s. And as the years went on, truck drivers would come in, and there was a place called Permane Brothers. And what they'd do was they would have a sandwich, coleslaw, and French fries. And these truck drivers would come in. They wouldn't have time to sit down and eat it. So what they did is they would just take the sandwich, put the French fries and the coleslaw in with the meat that came hot, fresh off the grill. And then they would take it and eat the whole meal in a sandwich.
Right.
And so that's the whole thing. And I'll never forget the first time I went, I was a teenager. My father took me. He's like, you got to try this thing. Because we had just moved from Jersey. And he's like, this is the greatest sandwich ever. I had 2.5 Permane Brothers sandwiches. And I've never come close since. I've gotten a 2, but I haven't gotten over the half. So when I was 16, I think it was the first time my father took me. And we've been there for a few years, but it is the best. It's the best.
Yeah. Anytime you get airport food, even if it's a chain that they'll find a way to screw it up because the people who work in the airports, they know they can't be fired. They're just they know
like government employees. They're like,
no one's going to report me. They're never coming back here. But so I get it. So I had to bring that up because I was underwhelmed when I had it at the airport. But I know what it was. It was the airport. So all right, very good. Thank you, Steve. John,
gentlemen, you
final
are
thoughts.
Literally 2 of my favorite guys to run across when I'm doing shows. I truly love you guys. And Hef, I'll see you Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
Looking forward to it. And maybe you can come out. Maybe you can come out Monday.
What's happening Monday? I forgot.
Heffron's going to be in
I'm
Nashville.
doing a set with all these power hitters that now live in Nashville. I'm gonna put a sticker, John Heffron sticker, on the mural. Escape team that's in Nashville, and then so you should show up, John.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. I have this coming weekend off.
Beauty.
Although I do have a Heffron and Reep on my calendar. That's a Monday night, John. What are we supposed to do with this podcast when you're over there playing with your friends in Nashville?
That's right. I will not be able. Yes.
So I'll hold the fort down. I'll hold the fort down. You go over there and have fun. Just zoom in if you can. All right.
Well, I love you guys.
I love you, Steve Byrne.
It's great seeing you.
Thanks, it easy, gentlemen. Brother.
Thanks for having me. Love you guys.
Yes, sir. Steve Byrne, everybody. Come on. That guy's great. I could talk to him for 3 more hours.
That's everybody. That's everybody on the Zoom. Unmuted their mics. Yeah, he's a great guy. I remember when I saw Steve years ago, he was like, this was a long time ago, where he was moving out of Los Angeles, and I saw him on a plane holding an Xbox. I forgot to bring that up. He's just holding an Xbox, the PlayStation. And I was like, he's like, I'm moving.
That's all I need. I just
that's happened to a couple people I know. I remember talking to Billy Gardell someplace, and he was going to move back to Pittsburgh. He was a week away from moving back to Pittsburgh or leaving Los Angeles, and then he got his TV show. Crazy.
Wow, yeah.
Right? Like how things can switch like that.
And now he's doing commercials for type 2 diabetes. Have you seen these commercials?
Let me ask you, not Billy Gardell. So by the equation. I know how bad I am money management. I've made a lot of money in my life, and I've wasted most of it, or I'm not a good saver. So, but when I see guys like Billy Gardell, right, he's got a lot of money, and then when I see Shaq doing those insurance commercials with the fake general,
right,
I'm always like, what? Like, what? Why? That commercial made you an extra 40 grand for the year. You needed to do it.
It's got to be one of those deals where the offer is insane and the work is easy. Where they probably go like, dude, you're going to be here 3 hours.
Right.
We're going to get you in. We're going to get you out. We're going to get you everything you need that day. We're going to hook you up. We'll fly you out. Blah, blah, bam, bada, boom. And we're going to give you, $5 million. He's like, all right. So, but you know the commercials I'm talking about with Billy Gardell.
Yeah. Yeah, he's good. He's an actor.
He is, but it's funny just knowing, dude. The guy's played blackjack in my house. Yeah, we had a poker night at I know him. It's fine. His manager is a friend of mine too. So, but it's funny just knowing him, and then seeing him go to actor mode and be walking around like, see what they can do for you. And just lifting these bands.
It's funny when you watch a decent amount of TV like I do, you start to see the same actors. There's a couple guys in their mid 50s that I'm seeing all the time. Like one is like he's in Prejudice, the testosterone replacement, and then there's another one that is like the same guy. I had a point to the story, but I completely forgot it. Oh well.
You keep
So there's one guy that I think he gets booked because he's a good walk and talker. He's like a Midas or some like online training for repair, and he's walking through the shop in the dot, and he's talking. But then I saw him in another commercial where he doesn't stop; he just keeps walking the whole time. So he's like, that's his hook,
and that is a skill. Because not only do you have to, all right, here's the thing. Little inside behind the scenes look in the show business for our viewers. Walking and talking, it sounds simple. People make fun of it. The guy can't walk and chew, talk and chew gum. But say, when you're walking on camera for any kind of movie or TV thing, they ask you to walk at a weird pace. Like it's not the pace you would normally walk. So you have to look like you're walking naturally at a weird, slower pace than you would normally walk. Or you've got to be in sync with the camera guy who's walking backwards, who's got a cord guy, and you don't want to walk too fast and hit him. It's a whole dance that you got to do. So John, you're exactly right. When I see people who do it well, I go, that guy's good.
Hey, real quick before we start to wrap it up and end it, I guess we should let's talk about our quick tour real quick.
Oh yeah,
let's tickets to the Western Michigan tour that me and John are doing. We're hitting. I don't want that one. I want happy walk. I want this. This is a song I want right here. Listen, if you're in Michigan, if you know anybody who lives in Michigan, you know anybody who can point Michigan on a map and they'd be interested in going to the Heffron Reep That's How We Roll tour, although one of the venues switched the name to something that they would like that has nothing to do with what me and John said. You can't do rewrites. The name of our tour is the name of our tour. But
what
anyway,
trying to call it. What do they call it?
They changed it.
But That's How We Roll tour. That's the name of it.
They switched the name. I think if you go to the Park Theater in Holland, Michigan, they switched the name on us.
Interesting. What do they switch it to?
That's
Roll We How?
No, they switched it. It's some completely something that we did not okay. But it's okay because I guess we're selling good tickets there. So
you know how we were talking about it last week about like, oh, we're nervous because we haven't seen them post a whole lot about us. And I thought I'll go leave comments on their pages.
If you're following us, if you're following me and John on Facebook, you know what we're doing. And some people love it and some people hate it, but we're doing anytime I see John Reep post anything, I always go, hey, we were just talking about this. And we do it on random people's websites. And it's funny. But if we can put the dates back up there real quick, I'll just bang through them. So if you're in Michigan, somewhere on this podcast above the video will be the link to the tour. I don't know if they're on heffronreep.com, but August 25th, Wyoming, Michigan, just a little bit south of Grand Rapids. Then Holland, Michigan, we're going a little bit north of Grand Rapids. Then on the 27th, Rockford, Michigan, at a bowling alley. They're the ones that they're plugging everybody but us. I'm the Michigan guy. I'm the guy who was born here. They're plugging all the comics who probably don't even know anything about Michigan. They're probably gonna just mispronounce Muskegon. Anyway, Rockford, and then on the 28th, Muskegon. And those are the 2 nights, by the way, John, me and you are homeless because I haven't found a place for us to stay those 2 days. I just now remembered that.
I thought we had a hotel room the whole time.
No,
Grand Rapids.
In Grand Rapids, but then we leave Friday to go up to Rockford and Muskegon, and we are. So that's probably nothing nobody needed to hear on air, but
good to know though. I'll start looking. I'm going to have a backup for me.
They were 2 comedians performing at bowling alleys in Western Michigan, but on this time they had no place to stay.
Until one of them went on hotels.com and got a backup just for him and didn't tell his friends, just so he could say that's what you get.
But yeah, so if you see those links, if you know anyone in those areas, they're going to be super, super fun shows because we created them out of nothing. And we're going to places. I heard one of the places has an ATM on stage. So we're playing in venues that we've never played. And it might seem a little odd to us or not as flashy. But the people who show up are going to have a great time.
Yeah, we should make a game. We should make a game out of the ATM on stage. Like when we go back up to close the yeah. We'll say like if we'll pick someone's ATM card at random. They give us the card. We get 5 tries.
Doesn't the bank call them though, or something?
Yeah, and that's how we end it.
That's the Michigan How We Roll tour in Western Michigan. I've even messed up and said it's mid Michigan. It's not. It's Western Michigan. It's gonna be super fun. It's gonna be end of summer. You know, it's gonna be fall pretty soon, so it's gonna be fun. Everybody out in cabins and boats. Come on, see me and John Reep.
I'm looking forward to it, buddy. I really am. And I know tickets are starting to move. It's going to sell out. So you better jump on it now, even though you think you have time. You really don't. That's what, 2 weeks from now? Less than 2 weeks? A little bit over 2 weeks? That, yeah. So get on it. Do we want to do the thing where we, how to do the Troll Patrol on Country-ish? Do we want to show that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I like to do, and this is not, I don't count this as a troll. This is a real question, but I know if I leave comments as a verified John Reep page, that people are going to read more into it, and maybe they're right. But it was a question. So one of these Facebook pages of one of the venues we're performing at, John had mentioned to me, he's like, wow, have you noticed they haven't posted anything about our shows? Right. But they are posting about other comedians who are coming. But why are they posting our shows? So all I did as a verified John Reep page was go to their page, not verified, and I just simply asked this question on each post that they put of another comedian. I simply said something like, hey, where can I find information about the John Heffron and John Reep tour?
Yeah.
And hey, the Alan Jackson, did you ever pull that up? Did you ever find it? We could possibly show it if you do. Pop in here and let me know if you have it. If not, I can remind you of where it was.
Give me just a second. I'll have it.
Okay. So that's all I did was leave a comment under other comedians that they were promoting.
Yeah.
And one of them got like 160 reactions. I brought more people to their page who don't live in Michigan.
Yeah.
But, I've got 207,000 followers on my verified Facebook page. So anytime I post something, the people who are following and get notifications, they see it.
Yeah.
And so they go there and they leave comments and they follow the page. So just on a comment alone, I've raised more awareness for this place than what their post that they did on their own would have done. So for that, you're welcome. That's what I'd like to say. Which one was it, John Heffron? Do you remember what's the name of the Oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah. The Back Alley Comedy Club. Here's a comedian that's Tattoo Life by Shane Smith.
Who's he's from Utah. I've worked with him before.
Yeah.
Very cool guy. Nice. Interesting story. He's actually he's a big military guy. He's done a lot of stuff.
I'm sure he's great.
He's a great guy.
I have no beef at all.
He's coming November 12th and the 14th. Me and John are coming in 2 weeks. So I think I would push all the love in the two major headliners you're showing that are showing up in 2 weeks, opposed to November.
So they posted that, come see him. And I wrote, where can I find information on the John Heffron and John Reep show? 106 people either liked it or laughed at it. And it's gotten, I don't know how many, like 10 replies maybe. Uh-huh. And they said, we appreciate, this is what whoever's running Back Alley Comedy Club's Facebook page, they replied, we appreciate the sudden boost of traffic to Shane Smith's post. And I would like to reply to them now. You're welcome. Imagine what I could do for your club if you talked about me.
Right?
Yeah.
If we put some of that,
think of that
traffic boost to,
instead of doing a snarky reply, why don't you focus on the guy who's bringing all you this love to your page as a joke? Imagine what I would do if I were serious and tried hard. Think of that. Think of what we could do as a team.
I'm so that's one of the places though. I believe that's our Friday or Saturday show. That's the bigger room. We're doing well in all these, and I get it. They want to push dates, but
someone's leaving a comment. Jacob said, "Yo, Reep, I looked for you on my Facebook, but I couldn't get LOL." You type in facebook.com/JONREEP. Look for the blue check mark. It is a page, not a profile. It's a page.
So
not
also,
a person.
Since we're talking about just Facebook pages, I just want to do this, John, and then I think we have to have her on as a guest. Alan, I hate to do this to you. Wait, was that a picture or was that live? What Alan just showed you, showing the Facebook page?
It was live.
Can you go to mine, the Facebook / John Heffron? I'm not bragging. I have 225,000 people less than John Reep.
Oh, not that many.
That many. I don't know how you do it. Maybe it's your charm. Maybe it's your look.
You've got negative. I got 207,000. You said minus 225. No, you've got 35.
I only have 35. But scroll down. I'm going to show you how somebody. Oh, that's us plugging it. Go. That's all my albums. I got like 7 of them. It's weird. Go. I started getting personal on my pages. Have you noticed, John?
I noticed that.
I've just noticed. Right. It's a new thing for me. So keep scrolling, Alan. That's where I left up wrong info. That's us right now. That's weird. It's kind of creepy. Hey, John. Hey, John. That's us plugging it. Keep scrolling. That's me at the Comedy Store. You can watch. Oh, I'm dancing there. That's me trying to plug a YouTube channel I didn't even know I have. That's me trying to plug my Spotify. Stop. So I posted. This was on my phone. Okay. It was just how to make caramel apples. And Alan, scroll up so you can just see what I write about it. It was just this was on my phone. I don't know the original source, and then I threw in a link for me. But then Alan, scroll. Look at this. This just makes me want to quit comedy. See, look how great that looks, by the way. Okay, so now, John, look at 6.5 thousand likes on an apple. Okay, now look below. My friend Christina. Yeah, did you see her? She's a mom, very funny. Who's written a bunch of books. Her comment alone has gotten 1.4 thousand likes on her comment. I've never got that many likes or comments on anybody of work I've done as a comedian for 30 years. She does it once, and she's boosted that one thing into a stratosphere. So guess what, John Reep? I think in a week we have Christina on the podcast.
We have her on, and we also have
because she's awesome.
All of our verified. I'm not done with Back Alley Bowling. I want more verified people to go comment on our comment. Let's bring them a lot of heat. Maybe Christina could leave a comment over there on my comment. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm interested. She's verified. How many followers does she have? Do you know?
Click on it. It's a couple million.
2.8 million. What does she do?
She wrote
I feel stupid for not knowing her. Okay.
Yeah, she wrote a book on being a mom. And I met her at a comedy club. Her show was sold out 18 billion fold, and she did like a 4:00 show before mine, and then my show was later that night with 70 people.
We totally have to get her on the show, dude. Totally.
Yeah, she's super funny, has great content, super cool. But yeah. So anyway, she helped boost one post of mine. So that's what type of influence.
John, so here's what, since you're friends with this girl, what you got to talk her into is cross promoting. So what that means is when we go live with her, she's putting the feed out on her network, her page, as well as our page. Yeah. And then we get more love. And then how do you talk her into that?
Yeah, we got to talk her into it, and then we got to load up that show because I know her fan base with a lot of fun stuff. Like I'm going to talk charcuterie boards. We're going to talk about like kitchen mineral paint. You know, it's very like
I'll come with something.
I'll come with tutorial, and then we'll just talk about parenting. I'm not, but we'll do parenting.
Sure,
we'll make it. We'll like play to her crowd.
I love it.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's plan for that. Well, you're going to be in Monday. You're going to be in Nashville. So
I'm going to be in Nashville.
So you're not going to be here next week. It'll just be me running the show.
I think so. I think we have a sub. Maybe we could have a sub.
I'll find a sub, or I can just me and Alan can do it. I don't mind talking to the people. We could have it a fan appreciation night. Where
I can try to do it from the club. You know how it's weird there though with the internet. We've tried it a couple of times.
Yeah, I know. I'll figure something out.
John, wait. I'm doing a podcast that I don't even know. They reached out to me being in Nashville. I should ask them if we could do that cross thing.
Yes, totally. Especially if they have tons of followers.
It's Willie Nelson's granddaughter. Has a music comedy podcast where they kind of talk about writing. And I wonder if I can get her to do it at this time.
Wait, is she the one that does Willie's Roadhouse, Sirius XM?
Maybe. I don't know. I just got, I
think his daughter hosts a show on there. If that's her, I mean, say yes no matter what, but if that's her, that's even cooler.
Okay. We'll work on that.
Yeah.
Because then we're getting weeks away from plugging our bowling tour.
Yeah, baby. Get your tickets.
Actually, are we going to bowl? Like we're there every night. The shows will be done early.
Yeah,
I mean, do we want to?
I'm bowling.
Because if I bowl 2 nights in a row, that would be the most I've ever bowled in my entire life.
We're totally bowling, and we're going to record it. We're even going to go live when we bowl sometimes.
Perfect.
It's gonna be a fun thing, dude. I'm getting tips from Kyle Troop, professional bowler.
All right. Anything? Are you home this weekend? Want me to plug anything?
I'll be in Atlanta next weekend at the Punchline in Atlanta.
Punchline.
So hopefully it will be open. But I'm not sure if they're going back to the masks or not.
Yeah,
but I'm going to be there regardless. So come on out and support me.
I will be home killing moles if I could be in everybody's thoughts as I try to wage this war against I'm losing it. It's a losing battle. But I'm going to give it a try, and I'll report back to you Monday.
I appreciate that.
And let you know. By the way, you look good. I kind of feel like how you look today with your shirt and your hat, or without your hair. I mean, you should just not go straight home. You should just be seen out in public just like this. You know what I mean?
So you're saying you like it?
Maybe go get it a new driver's license picture taken, or go get a passport photo taken just because you look like this, and just save it.
Good call.
You know what I mean? I would do some stuff.
I would run some errands.
I don't know if Alan Jackson makes you swipe a card and show ID when you come into his place.
I think the beard is trimmed. This is the best I've trimmed this beard in a long time. So thanks, John. Thanks for the compliments. Thank you all for watching Heffron and Reep. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share. We appreciate all of you. Hit that Patreon if you want. We'll put a link up to that in a minute. Get you some Heffron and Reep merch. And I'm John Reep, and over there is John Heffron, and I guess we're Audi 5000. G, how do you want to end it?
Like this.
Bam! Take us out, somebody. Yeah. Thank you.